Ladies and gentlemen.
Clown.
This is your weeknightly dive into the latest, the greatest, and the shameless of the entertainment industry. And I am one half of this podcast. I am Dash, aka Dashing D, aka the real king of R&B. And this
And
is
I
the
am
co-host who I will not introduce.
all right. And I'm JD, aka Pods. Glasses on today, so rear view mirror.
Yeah. So let's get into it. I mean, it's Tuesday.
Take it away, co-host.
I almost said it's Monday. How was your weekend? But all days feel the same. All right, so it's Tuesday and we got some things going on. So let's talk about Lyfe Jennings, which
Let's talk about it.
this wasn't on my bingo card. I didn't expect to be talking about Lyfe Jennings this week at all.
Well, you never know.
You never know what's going to happen. But what I do usually expect to talk about is Tiny Desk. We talk about Tiny Desk often.
Yeah.
Some of us here are fans of Tiny Desk and some of us are not. But
Right.
that's not the point here. The point is that recently Lyfe Jennings came out and publicly stated that he was rejected from doing Tiny Desk by the Tiny Desk team. And he claimed that the reason why he was not selected was because he was not a big enough act. This actually surprised me when I read this, just right off rip. This surprised me because I was like, really? Because I don't see them trying to suppress acts that are not as big. In fact, I think that the really huge acts don't do Tiny Desk. So, and it also depends on who you think is really huge. I think we have had some huge Tiny Desk acts, but I think for the most part, the majority of the time, it's not the biggest stars that are at the tippy top of their game. So Tiny Desk said, "Hold up now." They said, excuse me, can I just talk to you for a second? So apparently, according to Baller Alert, which I don't usually frequent, but this is where I found the story, so this is where we're getting it from. According to Tiny Desk, Lauren LaRosa of Brown Girl Grinding received a statement from a rep from NPR where they said that the Tiny Desk concert lineup is all about music discovery and inclusion. They said the NPR music team curates the Tiny Desk concert lineup using their editorial discretion to ensure there is music discovery and inclusion, showcasing emerging talent as well as often as well-known artists. The team gets pitched by hundreds of artists, big and small.
They are not going to hear the ice cream truck in editing.
Being a big celebrity is no guarantee to getting a Tiny Desk, but it doesn't disqualify you either. Often it is about timing the artist's career and our own schedules. Our team is small with limited capacity to film approximately 10 shows per month. Unfortunately, we cannot accommodate every artist who would like to perform. Further, a source clarified that NPR never used the words "not big enough," and it's not something they'd say to any artist. So, Tiny Desk responded. They said what they said. Lyfe Jennings said what he said. What do you think about this?
I don't really know how the Tiny Desk system works. I hear what they're saying.
Yeah.
I would have to agree based on what they said. It doesn't seem like they reject many artists. It seems like they try to give you a wide variety of artists on their platform. I've seen people up there I've never heard of. I've seen Usher up there. I've seen a wide range of people.
Yeah.
Um, I also saw someone who is like 90 years old and is a jazz artist. And I think they do lots of different things. I don't know their reason for saying no to Lyfe Jennings. Um, but I think it's good they don't use the words not big enough because yeah, that's not a nice thing to say. Um,
No.
and that I'm glad they clarified that point because that point was what stuck out to a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
Because Lyfe Jennings may not be the biggest artist today, but at one point he had a huge following. Um, he has a very solid first album. I believe it's the first album that everybody likes.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
I don't think right. I don't think he's a small act in the grand scheme of things. But I could also see the flip side where today nobody knows what Lyfe Jennings has going on, if he has anything going on. And so perhaps that makes them less inclined to put him on their platform. Um,
yeah. Um, yeah, I agree. I don't, I've never thought to myself, in all of the things that we've talked about having to do with Tiny Desk and whichever episodes I did watch or um, didn't watch but knew about, I never thought to myself that there was a one size fits all type of selection process. It doesn't
right.
seem that way. Sometimes it's culturally motivated. Like for Hispanic Heritage Month, you might see more Hispanic artists, or for Black Music Month, you might see more Black artists. But for I don't know, Bluegrass Month, you might see more bluegrass artists during that time. Whatever it is, right? Um, Anniversary of hip hop, you might see more hip hop artists. So I think that they do try to curate it in terms of how can we make this culturally relevant, but
Right.
but I think that probably dictates their selection a lot more, and especially today, because I'm sure in the beginning it was kind of just like, hey, who do you guys want to do this? It seemed we've talked about the origins of Tiny Desk, and it seemed like it came from just people who loved music and had a love for music and wanted to see that style of performance. It didn't really seem like, oh, we have to do this with the biggest act and in fact, I think they probably I to me it seems like they probably not want the biggest acts because there's so much pomp and circumstance that would have to go along with that. um we're not seeing our hugest stars these days like in I don't know. Oh gosh, what was at BB King's.
There is no more BB Kings.
I know that. That's why I said
Oh,
what was because I know, but back in the day that was a really big thing, right? But my point is those certain types of artists you wouldn't find there. If BB King's was open today, you probably wouldn't find them there. They're somewhere, doing a Vegas residency, or they're doing this, or they're doing
okay, I
that.
see what you're saying.
So my point is like a smaller venue, if you will.
Hmm.
Just to me doesn't seem like that's what it is. I know that there are certain anomalies, like an Usher, right? That's you know, Usher was on it when he was on a different plane. So I get it, but I've never taken it that way. I've never thought that that's what they were doing. Um, Furthermore, I actually have a problem with Lyfe Jennings doing this. Now, I would eat my words if we saw proof that someone had been disrespectful towards him, or you know, there was some evidence that there was just simply foul play. But I think that sometimes we forget that private entities are allowed to do as they please. And while we expect businesses and entities that we support to act with integrity, we don't really get to dictate to them how they run their show.
Right.
You and I could sit here and decide, if we decided we're doing guests, we could pick and choose who we wanted to be on our show, whether we like them or not. We could
Right.
take whatever criteria we wanted to use, or we could have no criteria, and we would still be correct in what we chose because it's our show. I think
Sure.
sometimes we forget that, yes, you may have wanted to be a part of this, but they're not obligated to do so.
No,
And
they're not.
and the fact that they're not obligated to do so, I don't know if it's fair to immediately say that, oh, you just weren't, you know, I just wasn't big enough. Maybe you didn't meet the criteria. Maybe you didn't meet the time frame. Maybe it was like, I just don't. I feel like that happens a lot where people think that just because you don't like something, just because your opinion is different of something, that you should have it your way. And they're an actual company that can make choices and decisions as they please. Now, if he came out and said that they were doing something that somehow defied uh cultural and social norms, or they were disrespectful, or they were racist, or they were this, or they were that, then okay. But to me, this just feels like your feelings were hurt, so you acted off of that. And I get it, but I don't know. I just kind of feel like, okay.
No. Yeah, you're right. They are a private entity. They can do what they want. Um, and there's truly only one company that allows you to have it your way.
And even that, they give you you got like a preset selection of goodies, right?
It's like,
It's technically not your way. It's almost your way.
an interesting clip came across our feed,
Mhm.
and I feel like we should play the clip so people have the context.
Oh.
So I'm gonna just play it real quick.
Mhm.
That I found out was credited to you is Rap Genius. Yeah, they made Rap Genius because of you. Yeah, that's the. It makes sense. It makes sense when you think about it. I was like, nigga, what am I reading? Yeah, that was the thing. I remember this when it was it kind of just first started bubbling to the point where the labels were paying attention. Yeah. And I remember the kid who started it came up to Atlantic. Shout out to my man Busy. When we had a meeting, he was like, yo, we started Rap Genius to break down your lyrics. And I was like, okay. Can I have some money? But I think part of it is they did it to just break down all types of dense text. So I think it was like some literature in there, maybe some other pieces and parts. Because it wasn't just rap. Right. It was like other whatever people would call poetry, genius, and all types of shit. But that's the story, and I'm sticking to it. So listen, so somebody prove me wrong. And the homie, rest in peace, he passed away. So there's nobody to refute. Nobody to refute. And only witnesses to be like, yeah, that's what happened. Like that's what dude said. I'm a witness. It's been documented. We got 3 cameras. Side of thing. Another invention that I was Rap Genius.
Whoops. Whoa.
Remind me, who posted that?
So this is a clip from the Almanac of Rap
Okay.
with Don Will, and it's about inventions, inspirations, teachings, new music, and more.
Okay.
That's not who posted it, but that's where the clip is from.
I just wanted to give credit to wherever we got it from.
Oh, we got it from OK Player and Don Will. It's a collab post on Instagram,
Okay.
but it's from Don Will's podcast.
Got it. Okay. Um, what do you think about that? I dabbled in the comments a little bit. So it actually made me laugh because some people were like, "Yeah, that's true," and I were like, "No, nigga." Just like, okay,
But why would it be no if that's what the owner creator said?
I don't know. Some people were saying that they feel it was other people, but
It don't matter what they feel. If that's what the man told him, it doesn't
right.
matter.
And to his point, the person is not alive to clear that up for us. So we'll have to take his word for it. I do think it's a cool thing to be the person who inspired something like that. I mean, listen, if you are a hip hop head, lyrical breakdowns are pretty dope.
Yeah.
So I appreciate Rap Genius for what it is and what it gives us. Um, it also kind of there were places where you could go to find lyrics and things like that, but I feel like it centralizes a lot of information, so it's not just lyrics and whatnot. But I thought this was cool, and it's a flex, right, for Lupe.
Yeah, it is a flex. Absolutely. And I feel him on some, hey, you gonna give me some money?
Oh, of course, yeah. No, I felt like that went without saying. Yeah,
It made me laugh when I first heard it, but I feel him because it's like,
yeah. It made,
oh, this was because of me. Oh, this is awesome. So what's my
how
percentage?
that's my
Like,
cut. What?
right, what I get off of this?
Yeah. Mhm.
I
Yeah.
could totally see songs like Dumb It Down. I don't know when Rap Genius began, but I could totally see songs like Dumb It Down by Lupe Fiasco being the reason that they wanted to do something like that.
Yeah.
Um, and I want to say fuck the comments. This is why I don't read comments.
I know.
When I look at things, I mean for our channel, sure, I read the comments, but
Mhm.
when I am just consuming content and scrolling the internet, this is why I don't read comments because people go in the comments and just say stupid shit all the time.
Yeah.
And it's like, at least use your brain if you're gonna say something. If the man is saying, "Hey, this is what was told directly to me," saying, "No, I think it was," it doesn't matter what you think. It doesn't matter. The nigga is saying this is what happened.
Yeah.
Then that's what happened. Now you could say I don't believe you. That's fine.
Hmm.
But saying, "Nah, I don't think it was because of him. I think it was because of some other art." But there's no, but no. First of all, nobody asked you what you thought. Second of all, it doesn't matter what you think. This is what the man is saying happened.
Yeah, no, I understand. I hear you. I check the comments for different reasons.
The
Some
comments are the ghetto.
they are. That
I
is
don't want to be there.
that is absolutely correct. But you know what? These same artists that we talk about every day, some of them be in the comments.
Yes, I know. I knew you were gonna
That's
say that.
one of the
Hence
reasons.
our Fat Joe conversation the other day.
Right. That's one of the reasons I go there because everybody, everybody's there. Okay. Yes. It is.
Right.
It is the crowded spot. It is the crowded spot where you gotta wait online to get in, and they charging everybody a different price to get in because niggas. Okay, it is that. That is what the comment section is. But I think sometimes I think that when you have credible people who go into the comments, you find out things that maybe you didn't know or something that's connected to it that sparks like another search. Because a lot of times I'll go, if there is someone in there who has something credible to say, I'll then go and search that and find out more information. I get it that everybody doesn't do what I do. We are in the business of providing information to people, so I make it a point to do that. Listen, in my
Yeah.
leisure time, like if it's some shade room bullshit gossip, right? And I go into the comments, I know all I'm going there for is a good laugh. But when I'm looking at stuff related to weeknights, it sometimes I sometimes end up down a different a completely different rabbit hole that is actually informative,
Got it.
um, which is streaming on all platforms right now.
I knew you were going to say something once you said rabbit hole. Yeah,
Yeah.
rabbit hole is streaming on all platforms. All right. So there's an update, kind of, about Blade.
Uh-huh.
The Blade movie featuring or starring Mahershala Ali. If you know, this film has been through hell, and there's still stuff going on. And so this is, uh, oh, we don't have a better source. This is our source. Okay.
What was
Hollywood Melanin. That's our source.
Oh yeah, you can use that. That's fine. I didn't send it to you from Blex. I mean, I don't think there's a big difference between the two, but
I got The Verge.
not you being just never mind. We can talk about our sources later.
According to The Verge, it says here Marvel's reboot has been chiefed. It's a funny word.
Yeah.
Marvel's new Blade movie seemed less and less likely, like it was coming together as the project lost its director and was put on indefinite hold. And now the studio has officially taken the film off of its production slate. That's it. That's the post from The Verge.
It's interesting. That's interesting. Um, do we think that the Blade movie is never going to come out?
That's what some people think.
Because I want to see Mahershala Ali as Blade. I actually saw Blade in theaters when Blade came out. I know it wasn't Mahershala Ali originally, right? But it was Wesley Snipes, right?
It was Wesley Snipes. This is true.
Yeah, I went to the movie theater to see it, and I was really excited that Mahershala Ali Mahershala Ali as Blade. I love that. I think that's great. I think he's so talented, and he's good at like, different types of roles.
Yep.
He's a great actor. I really wanted a superhero Mahershala Ali. I did. Or is he?
Anti-hero.
I was just about to say, is he considered a superhero?
Yeah, so Forbes wrote about it too. Forbes says the upcoming Marvel Studios film Blade was pulled from its planned November 2025 release date with no replacement date announced, marking yet another delay the project has suffered after cycling through 2 directors and at least 6 writers since the studio first announced it 5 years ago.
I know. I read that. What is going on? I feel like there's a bad egg somewhere attached to this film. Because why is everyone leaving? And why can't they get it together?
I just appreciate that Mahershala Ali has stayed the course and has not said anything crazy, because we've seen actors in the past come out and say crazy shit that then costs them the role or hurts their career. And thus far, as far as I know, if I'm wrong, y'all could put that in the comments.
Mm-hmm.
But thus far, what I know is Mahershala Ali has just been chilling.
Yeah.
Just like, yeah, it's still happening. I'm still on board.
Right.
Thanks.
I'll be there. Y'all let me know when it's time.
That's it.
Yeah.
So I think there's a couple things to consider here.
Mm-hmm.
Since 2019, when it was first announced, I know 5 years ago was a long time ago, but Marvel has been going through sort of a weird era. They launched Disney Plus. Some of those shows were abysmal. Other shows were smashes.
Right.
And they then went through a reconstruction era, or I should say they are now going through a reconstruction era, where it's like, all right, all that Disney Plus stuff kind of was not what we thought. Our movies have not been doing so great, minus a few bangers. We trying to bring Robert Downey Jr. back and fix the multiverse situation and end it with a bang. And so I can see in the midst of all of that how Blade has kind of been lost in the wind.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, I feel like as different things are happening, you need to shift, right? If we say, hey, the plan is for everybody to eventually fight Kang the Conqueror, and little by little we're gonna introduce everybody into that story. Well, then
Mhm.
you probably wrote a specific film. You say, actually, we had a meeting. Ant-Man and the Wasp didn't do great. We might be changing that. I say, okay, we might change it again. And you
Yeah.
say, oh, we kind of want to go in this direction. No, we kind of want to go in that direction. And so I can see the frustration from the fans, the writers, the directors, everybody. And even Mahershala Ali, who's largely been quiet as far as I know. I can see how this would present difficulty for all parties involved. And, Blade is a big deal. The first movie franchise was huge. You would want the relaunch to be just as good or better. And so if that means waiting to get it right, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But I do understand, again, everyone's frustration because it's like, yo, where the fuck is this movie?
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I was actually excited about it.
yeah.
You know?
I just hope it still happens because at this
Yeah.
point, some people feel it will not. Um, I'm unsure, and so I just hope it still happens. I agree with you. Mahershala Ali is a very talented actor. I think he's fully capable of doing many things. I don't even think we've seen all his potential as an actor, and I would love to see what he does as Blade. Um, there are also rumors now that Ryan Reynolds wants to do a Blade movie to say goodbye properly to Wesley Snipes' Blade, and that he is trying hard to convince Marvel to do that. That could also be one of the reasons that this movie was shelved,
Is
or
Apes down to do that?
it appears he is.
Oh.
Wesley Snipes was in Deadpool that
Oh,
recently came out.
I haven't seen it yet. Oh, I think it's available now. I should watch it. I think
You
it's on
should,
Disney Plus now.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
he's in the movie, and his famous line in the movie is I'm Blade. And I'll be something like I'm the only Blade and there'll never be another Blade, something like that.
Oh, you talked about this. You did. This is not the first time I'm hearing this. Okay.
Yeah.
Um.
So yeah, it seems like people were excited he was in the film and
Mhm.
Ryan Reynolds wants to do it. And so I can even see that, right? Where that's not a fact. We don't know that to be a fact at this point. But what we do know is it's a rumor, it's a possibility. If that's the case, after Ryan Reynolds just helped make Deadpool and Wolverine such a huge film, perhaps Marvel is saying, well, let's talk about that. And let's maybe save the Mahershala Ali Blade movie for when Marvel does their reboot in
Mhm.
2028 or whatever it is.
Yeah. Right.
I could
Because
see that as well.
yeah, because if you already have Blade.
Hmm.
It's not like they were. I mean, I know they can change whatever they want to change. If they want to boot Mahershala Ali, they can boot him. But if you are trying to maintain that relationship with that particular actor, and if you are but still behind the idea of having that particular actor, you do have to kind of move carefully in terms of reintroducing the old one. I mean, don't get me
Right.
wrong.
Well,
I
also, the
think
other reason
Wesley
I say
Snipes is
that,
great, but that's my only thing. Like, how does that work? How do they maneuver around it? If that's something that they want to, you know, do. I don't know.
yeah, the only thing I will say is there's a lot of ways of doing it. The challenge is Marvel is getting towards the end of everything, right? That's what we're
Mhm.
heading towards. And so the rest of phase 5 and 6 is to go to the restarting of Marvel.
Okay.
Marvel is doing a soft reboot. We don't know all the details of that yet, but it is clear Marvel will be doing a restart of sorts. So I could see them just waiting until the restart happens to
And
introduce
then,
him. But
okay.
you could also make him one of the last movies as well, right? Where you say like, "Oh, here's another Blade, excuse me, from another part of the multiverse," and you
Right.
just introduce him. So
They do
I don't
have
really know
that in
what
their
they're
back
gonna
pocket.
do.
The multiverse. They can just kind of be like, well, this is,
Yeah,
different
yeah,
universe. Yeah. Makes sense.
yeah. Well, do you have any other thoughts before we go?
Nah, that's it for me.
All right, then that's it for us, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being here, watching, listening, viewing, commenting. We appreciate you, and we will see you tomorrow.
Bye.